CTV's Judy Trinh is in Washington. She joins us now with the latest this morning. So, Judy, let's begin with the agenda and where those talks around Canada's commitment to GDP spending factor in. What are you learning?
All right, well, let's begin with the main event. President Biden will be meeting with Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky today, and Biden will also then hold a solo news conference. That will be a very important news conference to watch because, as you know, Marcia, Biden is facing domestic pressure to step down after a poor debate performance. Basically, everyone here is talking about the future of Joe Biden. They also want to know whether or not they're involved in concern about the stability of NATO, given the fact that a Trump presidency is now a much bigger factor, a much bigger possibility. As we know, Marcia, Trump is not a supporter of NATO. He has also talked about how he admires Vladimir Putin, and Biden has to come out strong to show that he can marshal all these allies together and be unified in dealing with Vladimir Putin in helping Ukraine win the war. Now, in terms of his announcement yesterday, he also said that there would be the creation of a mission in Germany under a three-star general, which will coordinate long-term security financing for Ukraine. So that is a commitment, but it falls short of what Vladimir Zelensky wanted. He wanted negotiations to join NATO to begin, Marcia.
All right. And we heard House Speaker Mike Johnson kind of shaming Canada around its spending. He's certainly not the only one, but he was very vocal in his criticism, accusing Canada of riding on America's coattails. What are you learning about the plan, Judy, that Bill Blair apparently is going to be laying out?
We have asked those questions about when we are going to hear details of this plan. In his remarks to a foreign policy assembly, Blair said that this plan is coming in a few days, that he will present a verifiable plan to show allies. So that's really important. But Blair has said that before. Canada has said since 2006, Marcia, under previous liberal and conservative governments, that they will commit to this 2% GDP figure. But over the course of nearly 20 years, we haven't even reached that. I can tell you also that the pressure is on that we've never seen before. We have basically 2/3 of the members of the U.S. Senate calling out Canada for its lack of action on this. And what we do have is a defense plan which says that we will meet by 2030, we'll get to 1.76% of GDP. But that is still way off the mark, Marcia.
Way off the mark, Judy. Yeah. So let me ask you then lastly about Joe Biden. Of course, we have the agenda, the NATO agenda, but it's kind of like the elephant in the room, I'm guessing. He is being watched and scrutinized by everybody to see how he is doing, if he seems mentally clear, able to head up this NATO meeting. What is the buzz around how Biden is performing, if you will, on the world stage as he hosts the summit in Washington?
This is Biden's first international event since that disastrous debate with Donald Trump. Yesterday, when he made his opening remarks at the ceremony, he was reading off a teleprompter, and he did appear forceful. There was a slight moment in which he seemed to read stage instructions, but that was just a minor blip. But there are questions about his mental acuity have continued to dog him, and as he holds this news conference, all eyes will be on him. He's expected to answer questions about the NATO summit, about support for Ukraine. But I can tell you that what the American reporters here are interested in is the questions and answers about his fitness to run as the next candidate for president. So once again, he has a lot riding on the line here. He has to show that he is capable, that he's forceful, and that this is a test of how he performs. He wants to juxtapose himself with Donald Trump, who has mused about pulling out of NATO, who has shown support for Putin, and who has also said, who has questioned whether or not Ukraine should be supported in its war. So this is Biden's turn to set himself apart and to prove to a domestic audience, to the Americans, to the Democrats who are calling for him to step down, that he is still the best candidate to run for president and that he can do the job.
Judy, thanks for all that. Please keep us posted on developments there in Washington. Judy Trinh at the NATO meeting. She is, of course, traveling with Prime Minister Trudeau.